high-tech robots compete to save dying coral reefs? Can artificial intelligence revive an underwater world? Engineers have unleashed autonomous drones that map, clean, and plant coral faster than any diver, racing nature's clock.
I'm Lumen, here with Axiom, exploring whether machines can restore ocean gardens.
Down here, every colony matters. Healthy reefs shelter countless species.
Stay tuned for jaw-dropping breakthroughs, human-machine collaboration, and a chance to help these fragile ecosystems.
Welcome to a deep dive into AI-driven coral restoration, where we unpack game-changing technologies and unexpected challenges.
Let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, we use artificial intelligence to boost visibility of conservation topics, but sources and research are always real.
Map out how this episode flows. First, the urgency of crisis, then science behind solutions, and your role.
Expect interactive polls, viewer shoutouts, myth-busting, and a nuanced look at ethical tensions in conservation technology.
We'll challenge assumptions that technology alone can save reefs, while showing how AI offers unmatched precision and scale.
Ready for hope and truths? Join connecting science, stories, community action.
How do underwater cities built by tiny animals support our coasts, our food, and our climate? These coral reefs host a quarter of all marine species, from reef sharks to clownfish, forming vibrant neighborhoods.
1 billion people benefit from reef services, food, tourism, coastal protection, yet many never think about them.
Reefs also hold billions in economic value and cultural heritage. They are living museums and coastal guardians. But half of the world's reefs have died since 1950, and scientists warn they could virtually disappear by 2050.
Heat waves and acidification, while pollution and overfishing add stress, leading to mass bleaching and collapse.
Without intervention, natural reef recovery takes decades. Manual restoration with divers planting corals is painstakingly slow. Traditional coral gardening relies on divers attaching fragments one by one, a process limited in scale and costly.
To match the pace of warming oceans, restoration must accelerate dramatically. Enter artificial intelligence and robotics.
AI-powered digital twins simulate reef ecosystems. The Red Sea's 22 petabyte model predicts outcomes before we intervene. Sensors feed live data into these models, enabling scientists to test scenarios and optimize where and when to plant corals.
Autonomous robots like LarvalBot spray concentrated coral larvae across damaged reefs, boosting settlement rates by up to 100-fold.
On land, the BrainCoral platform tracks every detail of coral growth, identifying heat-tolerant strains and accelerating nursery production. This system has already grown over 100,000 corals, with plans to produce 400,000 per year by 2027.
In Australia, Coral Maker trains robotic arms to attach coral fragments into limestone bases, mass-producing reef building blocks.
In Australia, Coral Maker trains robotic arms to attach coral fragments into limestone bases, mass-producing reef building blocks. Meanwhile, AI vision tools such as CeruleanAI turn diver photos into detailed maps, reducing analysis from weeks to minutes. AI even listens. Soundscape analysis reveals recovering reefs attract more fish, shrimp, and other life, signaling ecosystem success.
I think algorithms can fix reefs alone, right? But these systems thrive on human partnership. Yet technology alone isn't enough. Restoration efforts must integrate local knowledge, community stewardship, and
AI can't fix greenhouse gas emissions. Without broader climate action, restored corals will face recurring bleaching events. So the question becomes, will corals adapt and thrive fast enough? Or will warming outpace our restoration efforts?
Not every robot in the ocean is science fiction. Some are already nursing reefs back to health, guided by learning algorithms. They map, plant, and monitor faster than we ever could.
In our data dive, Axiom will examine success rates and limitations. Myth-busting is coming up soon. We'll also feature critics who caution against techno fixes, urging us to address root causes like emissions and pollution.
reefs are fighting back with our help. Community-led projects use simple tools like shading and herbivorous fish.
We invite you to share your thoughts. What strategies would you try to help reefs survive? Comment below. Shout out to superfan Musketeer Chris and the pack for their support. We read every pun and idea.
This
coral's bouncing back faster than you think. Next, we'll bust myths about AI coral restoration and reveal surprising statistics. Stay tuned for Axiom's deep dive.
Our challenge is immense, but hope grows as new corals take root. The ocean's future depends on our collective action. After the break, we'll hand off to Axiom, who will analyze the data and separate facts from fiction.
Will technology be a lifeline or a distraction? Up next, Axiom confronts the numbers behind these promises.
Let's cut through the hype. AI is a tool, not a miracle cure. So, what does the evidence show? The Red Sea Initiative built a 22 petabyte digital twin that simulates a 100-hectare reef with chat reef predictions.
This model reduces monitoring time from months to weeks, guiding scientists on where to plant corals most effectively.
However, such high-resolution modeling is costly and requires computing resources only top universities can afford. Scalability remains uncertain. BrainCoral monitors coral nurseries. It has grown over 100,000 corals and targets 400,000 by 2027.
That sounds impressive, but remember, these are land-based operations and outplanting still depends on water quality and site protection.
LarvalBot's creators report up to 100 times more coral settlement compared with manual methods, a major efficiency gain. Each robotic drone covers about 1,500 square meters an hour, enabling seeding of hectares during short spawning windows.
Yet larval availability, ocean currents, and weather limit operations, and scaling up fleets demands funding and maintenance logistics.
Coral makers' prefabricated reef bases bypass years of natural calcification, letting robots mass produce and plant coral fragments at scale. 2 collaborative robot arms cut and glue fragments into limestone plugs, learning to handle delicate corals with computer vision.
Aim to produce 1.7 million fragments on 280,000 bases each year. But prototypes face saltwater challenges.
CeruleanAI democratizes monitoring. Divers upload photos and receive an analysis in minutes instead of weeks, opening tools to anyone. This accessibility means local communities and students can track reef recovery with just a camera, laptop, and internet connection.
However, AI analysis relies on good training data. Misidentifications can mislead if images are poor or species vary regionally.
Soundscape analysis uses machine learning to detect fish calls and shrimp snaps. Restored reefs sound more alive than a recent study analyzing 45 reefs across 5 countries found more diverse nocturnal sounds on restored sites, indicating fish recruitment.
Snapping shrimp activity also increased, signifying sediment mixing, a sign of ecological function returning, but some herbivore sounds lagged behind.
This nuance matters. Even as fish return, not every process recovers. We must manage expectations about ecosystem functions. Now for myth number 1. AI alone will save reefs. False. Technology aids restoration, but cannot stop climate-driven bleaching events.
Myth 2. All AI solutions are equal. In reality, effectiveness depends on environment. What works in the Red Sea may fail elsewhere.
Myth 3. Robots replace divers. In fact, human expertise guides deployment, repairs robots, and monitors outcomes. AI augments, not replaces. Myth 4. Citizen science isn't needed. Actually, community monitoring provides ground truth for models and fosters stewardship beyond algorithms.
Myth 5. AI data is unbiased. Models reflect training data if reefs in the Caribbean are underrepresented. Predictions may misguide interventions.
We also hear claims that digital twins can predict every outcome, but ocean dynamics, storms, and human activities remain unpredictable. Rigorous evaluation is crucial. We need standardized metrics for coral survival, growth, biodiversity, and community benefits across projects.
For instance, BrainCoral's growth rates are promising, yet we must compare them to baseline nurseries and track long-term survival.
LarvalBot's 100-fold boost is relative to manual seeding. Actual coral survival to adulthood must still be measured over years. Coral makers' robots can mass-produce fragments, but will those corals withstand storms, warming, and diseases on natural reefs?
CeruleanAI speeds up analysis, but does it catch early disease signs and subtle bleaching? Human review remains a necessary safety check.
Soundscape AI can misclassify noise pollution as biological sounds. Cross-validation with human experts ensures reliability, and calibrates sensors. What about cost? Digital twins and robots require capital. Small island nations might struggle without partnerships and open source tools.
We should ask, who owns data? Are AI models open to local scientists or controlled by private firms charging subscription fees?
Another caveat: carbon emissions from computing and robotics aren't trivial. Green energy must power our AI to avoid irony. So, why bother? Because properly designed AI can scale up restoration to levels matching reef loss, improving survival and biodiversity.
When combined with climate mitigation, marine protected areas, and community engagement, AI becomes part of a holistic recovery strategy.
To ground this debate, let's look at numbers. The Red Sea Initiative aims to outplant 2 million corals by 2030. Their nurseries will produce hundreds of thousands each year. That scale matters when reefs are disappearing rapidly.
Meanwhile, global reef area loss each year could be tens of thousands of square kilometers. Scaling up is essential.
Another number: CeruleanAI reduces survey analysis from months to weeks, freeing up time and budget for actual restoration work. And BrainCoral uses analytics to identify heat-tolerant genotypes, so we're not planting corals doomed to die in heat waves.
As we crunch these numbers, we want to hear your skepticism.
Axiom and Lumen sometimes disagree. I'll challenge Lumen's optimism with data, but we converge on shared takeaways and honest reflection. Don't take our word for it. Pause, verify in the sources panel, and contribute your observations from reefs you visited.
This deep dive will debate the ethics and future of AI restoration. Grab a drink, questions welcome, see you soon.
Let's begin this debate by acknowledging that AI offers powerful tools, but cannot substitute for healthy ecosystems. We just explored digital twins and robots. They provide insight and scale. Yet I worry about unrealistic expectations. If we promise that technology will save reefs, do we risk delaying emissions cuts? As the optimistic narrator, how do you address this tension?
I hear your concerns, Axiom. For me, technology is a catalyst, not a crutch. When local communities use AI tools like CeruleanAI, they feel empowered to protect their reefs and document changes. And when robots handle tedious tasks, divers can focus on science and storytelling. Hack, what creative restoration ideas would you try? Share them in the comments.
Accessibility is key. Without affordable tools, small island nations and indigenous communities may be left behind. Digital twins are expensive. Not everyone has cloud computing. How can we ensure open source models and training? Have you faced barriers when trying to access environmental data? Let us know your experiences so we can highlight systemic obstacles and solutions.
Great points. I've seen island youth groups using simple 3D printed coral structures, guided by AI analytics, to rebuild reefs on a shoestring budget. In Indonesia, volunteers and Mars's reef stars have revived soundscapes using low-tech methods complemented by AI. To our viewers, do you know of a grassroots project combining tradition and innovation? Drop a shout-out. We might feature them next episode.
Another concern is ethical. When we engineer supercorals through selective breeding, are we altering ecosystems in ways we don't fully understand? Could we inadvertently reduce genetic diversity? And what happens if private corporations patent coral genotypes or digital twin algorithms? This calls for transparent governance. Should restoration be
hopeful? Because AI-driven approaches are accelerating restoration, but urgency remains. Without global emissions reductions, even the strongest corals will bleed. That's why we pair robotics with advocacy. If you're watching, consider your carbon footprint. Reduce meat consumption, support clean energy, and push policymakers for marine protected areas. Together, we can give reefs a chance.
To recap, Lumen champions optimism and creativity, while I hold space for skepticism and caution. Both perspectives matter. Evidence must guide decisions. Share peer-reviewed studies, local monitoring results, and lessons learned in our comments.
Is that despite our different tones, we align on the core mission, saving coral reefs by combining data, heart, and action. We'll continue to myth bust, uplift community science, and keep the conversation open. If you're still with us, hit like, subscribe to join the pack, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. In Saudi Arabia's Red Sea, the KAUST Coral Restoration Initiative is building the world's largest digital twin and aiming to outplant 2 million corals by 2030. Using a 22 petabyte model, they simulate reef conditions, optimize sensor placements, and decide which corals to plant. Director David Suggett says this data-driven approach could revolutionize large-scale restoration. In the Bahamas, Coral Vita's land-based farm uses the BrainCoral platform to monitor water flow, nutrients, and growth conditions. By identifying heat-resistant genotypes and applying microfragmentation, they've grown over 100,000 corals. The team licenses their AI system globally, partnering with KAUST to scale to over 400,000 corals per year by 2027. On Australia's Great Barrier Reef, scientists deploy LarvalBot drones to deliver concentrated coral larvae during spawning events. Floating nursery enclosures collect millions of larvae. Then each autonomous robot gently releases them over degraded areas at 1,500 square meters per hour. Trials reported up to 100 times more coral settlement compared with manual seeding, sparking plans for fleets. Marine biologist Taryn Foster's Coral Maker builds dome-shaped limestone bases with slots for coral fragments. Robots use computer vision to cut fragments and insert them into these plugs with precision. The goal is to mass-produce 1.7 million fragments across 280,000 bases each year, bypassing years of natural growth and enabling factory-like restoration. In Florida, the Coral Restoration Foundation launched CeruleanAI to democratize reef monitoring. Divers capture photos and upload them. AI stitches mosaics, identifies coral species, and measures growth in minutes. Where analysis once took specialists weeks and expensive software, now community groups worldwide can access high-tech insight with just a camera and internet connection. And thanks to training from volunteers, even small island communities can now gather data and share results with scientists. Mars Inc., better known for chocolate, invests in reef stars, hexagonal steel structures seeded with coral fragments in Indonesia. Recent AI-assisted soundscape studies across 45 reef sites found that restored reefs supported more diverse fish calls and snapping shrimp sounds than degraded ones. This suggests that habitat complexity and noise cues help recruit juvenile fish back to restored reefs. Not all successes are high-tech. In Kenya's Reefolution project, locals construct simple rope nurseries and use shading to protect corals during heat waves. They also restore herbivore fish populations to graze algae. Pairing these efforts with AI-assisted 3D mapping ensures that the right species are planted in the right places. Scientists then integrate those findings with AI models to plan next steps and improve future plantings. Elsewhere, designers experiment with 3D printed terracotta and biodegradable materials shaped to mimic natural coral skeletons. AI helps optimize the complexity and flow patterns to encourage larval settlement. When combined with micro-fragmented coral pieces, these structures become living art that grows and strengthens reefs in coastal communities. Citizen scientists can print these structures in makerspaces, bringing reef restoration into classrooms and inspiring the next generation. What ties these case studies together is the blend of innovation, local stewardship, and iterative learning. AI doesn't replace human care, it amplifies it. Data from digital twins informs site selection. Robots mass-produce fragments. Community divers plant them and monitor results. By connecting sensors, algorithms, and human hands, these networks create feedback loops that refine methods over time, accelerating restoration across continents. From the Red Sea to the Bahamas, Australia, Indonesia, and Kenya, these projects show that AI can drive efficiency and understanding while centering community. But scaling requires investment, transparency, and climate action. What lessons resonate with you? Are there case studies we missed? Let us know so our map keeps growing. We'd love to hear about projects in your region. Share links in the comments so we can highlight them in future episodes. We love reading your comments and questions. Seriously, they keep us going. Last week, superfan Musketeer Chris shared an idea about using biodegradable seaweed nets to shade corals during heat waves. Another viewer, Dolphin Lover, asked whether robots could harm fish while planting coral fragments. We reached out to engineers who assured us the machines are programmed to avoid marine life. Remember our Pun of the Week challenge? Falanook fans, we're reefing the benefits made us laugh. Keep those puns, ideas, and honest critiques coming. Drop them below, and we might shout you out in our next episode. GeoBeaver suggested sending a robot with a hug sensor to avoid bumping turtles. We promise to investigate. We also appreciate the constructive pushback on our AI ethics segment. Skeptical voices keep us grounded and improve our content. Several of you have been getting hands-on. Seagrass Stan sent photos from a citizen science dive in Florida, where volunteers used simple slates to measure coral growth. He even uploaded data to CeruleanAI. Meanwhile, Reef Rookie in Indonesia tested a 3D printed reef star prototype in a school project and reported that fish larvae were investigating it within days. These stories show the power of community science. If you're curious how to get involved, we've linked volunteer directories in the notes. From Palau wrote in to say her kids decorated coral cookies before scientists planted them, turning restoration into art. Whale Watcher shared an audio clip of whale song captured near a reef nursery. We forwarded it to researchers for analysis. Keep your creativity flowing.
Our channel is growing thanks to you. We recently hit a subscriber milestone and unlocked new features like polls and community tab posts. We're experimenting with micro shorts. Our Ant Queen video spiked to 25% click-through rate. But some of you have expressed concerns about synthetic voices. Thanks for that feedback. We're committed to transparency. Our voices are AI generated, our sources are pinned, and your trust is vital. If you appreciate deep dive documentaries like this, tap subscribe, ring the bell, and consider sharing with a friend who loves the ocean. Your engagement helps us convince sponsors to fund bigger field shoots and bring in more expert interviews. Looking ahead, the frontier of reef restoration is moving beyond robotics toward genetics and predictive ecology. Researchers are exploring CRISPR-like techniques to activate stress resistance genes in corals, though ethical questions about altering genomes linger. Companies are developing self-healing reef structures that release larvae when triggered by temperature. Advanced sensors could send real-time alerts to managers, while machine learning forecasts help local communities prepare for heat waves. There's even talk of combining reef restoration with carbon dioxide removal, such as growing seaweed around reefs to absorb CO2 and feed restoration nurseries. Imagine digital twins so detailed they include microorganisms and plankton. Imagine AI-managed nurseries that adjust water chemistry automatically. But we must ensure these advances are accessible, not just reserved for wealthy nations. We must proceed thoughtfully, balancing innovation with caution. For these innovations to matter, we need policies that protect reefs, funding to support long-term monitoring, and inclusive governance. AI models trained on diverse datasets should be open source, with benefits shared equitably among coastal nations and indigenous peoples. Education is vital. Imagine students using VR reef simulations to learn marine biology. As viewers, you play a role by supporting science-based policy, volunteering locally, and holding us accountable. Our channel will continue covering new breakthroughs, inviting experts, and amplifying your voices. Governments must invest in renewable energy to cool oceans, and international agreements should limit coastal development that smothers reefs with sediment. Support indigenous knowledge holders who have been stewarding reefs for generations. They should be co-creators, not just beneficiaries. What future innovation excites you the most? Comment below and consider sharing this video to inspire more ocean advocates. As we wrap up, remember, coral reefs are critical, hosting 1/4 of marine life and supporting billions of people. Half have vanished since 1950, but AI-driven restoration offers unprecedented speed and precision. Digital twins, robots, and soundscape analytics are tools in a larger toolbox that includes community stewardship and climate action. You can help by reducing your carbon footprint, supporting marine protected areas, volunteering locally, and sharing this knowledge. Subscribe, leave a comment, and join our pack as we continue exploring science and hope together.